Today we're going to be correcting nail extensions, and for this we're going to be using 3 different kinds of gels. The index fingernail is really sticking out, so we're going to have to fill it. But in general, the look on these nails is great, so without any further delay, let's get started. I'm filing down the nails as much as has grown out. I'm holding the nail firmly on top in order to reduce any kind of feelings of the vibrations. I'm taking the finish coating off. If there were a gel polish, we would be taking that off also, but since there's not, taking off that top layer here will be enough. Through the camouflage, I can see a whitish spot, and from experience, you'll know that that means that right there is lifting. So we're definitely going to need to file it down. In a circular motion, I'm making light cuts and removing the layer. Of course, with time and this kind of length, the apex shifts and the weight goes down on the natural nail. So we can't leave that coating on because the flakes of the natural nail will just rise up and this could injure the nail. But with the exception of that index finger, all the other nails were fine and they didn't have any lifting, so I was really happy about that. But now I'm just going to file down with a nail file. The overgrown part of the natural nail is what I'm going to file, and some may think that the harder you file or the more pressure you add, the better the product will come off, and that is absolutely not true. You need to be super careful, but thoroughly file the nail using the nail file gently. Further, we're cleaning up the cuticle area, and why? So that within a few days, lifting won't occur from the cuticle. Lifting on top can depend on the dehydrator that you're using or if you accidentally poured any gel on the skin. Now I'm just dehydrating the nails. For the index finger, I took off even more product in order to show you all the correcting from lifting. An acidic primer will work best with this case, so we just need to wait until it's completely evaporated and the nail becomes matte and slightly whitish. Further, we're applying our base coat. Our nails are extensions, so the technical application of the base coat diverts a bit from a gel polish. And as I mentioned, today we're going to be using 3 different camouflages. First off, I'm starting with this typical camouflage. Its drawback is that it runs quite a bit, so in order to work with it, you need to apply it fast. Pulling back from the cuticle 1.5 millimeters, otherwise it'll flow onto the skin while it's drying. It can easily flow off to the sides when drying underneath the lamp. However, there is an advantage to this, and that is that it levels out really nicely and it dries smoothly. With lack of experience working with this kind of gel, you might get distracted working on one side while on the other side it's leaking off onto the skin. Therefore, with this, you need to control everything and work fast. Second, we're working with a gel jelly. This one we can work with for a while. Gel jelly doesn't spread out, but you'll still need to draw back from the cuticle just a little bit. The minus here is the texture. If you don't spread it out with the brush smoothly, there's going to be mistakes, pits, and you'll end up having to file down a lot. But knowing this, just put the layer on thicker and it'll practically stay in place. Our last one for today is this acrogel. Here on the natural nail, which bent quite a bit downward, we're applying the gel in a straight line on the stressed area. The forming thickness on the tips we're pulling to the bottom. Here I'm applying the acrogel on the nail, and with a small brush ever so lightly dipped in a dehydrator, we're smoothing it out and going over everything well, especially by the cuticle. A plus, like with the gel jelly, the acrogel doesn't move or run, but in comparison with the gel jelly, with a little help of a brush, acrogel forms really nicely and saves a lot more time from having to file anything down. I like all of these different sculpting gels, but of course choosing one depends solely on your situation. Also, compared to the other gels, this acrogel really keeps its shape. Even if your client moves their hand under the lamp into a crooked position, it won't run off at all. These thick tips here are going to need a bit of filing down on the free edge. With acrogel, you don't need to file down as much on top, but pay more attention to the lower parallel area and removing the material from the bottom. For that, you'll need to use a nail drill and not a nail file. If you don't have a nail drill for this, it's better not to even touch this area. Or, well, just get yourself a nail drill. To file down the product from the bottom, you'll need to do this from a slightly small angle so that the tips will turn out thinner and not look so bulky. And the product around the middle part will be left thick. And here is our final result. All nice and even, not crooked at all. They look super sophisticated and the shape looks great. Further, we're coating our nails with a gel polish and finishing off in this geometric design. And then we'll be going over everything with a finish.